y'all, it's Locktar with another review video. Today we've got Jack Daniel's 10-year batch 3. Now I will say, I'm giving this a try because this gentleman gave this to me and I am going to absolutely drink the entire thing. I only do 2 ounces a night on the recommendation of my doctor. It helps me sleep, it helps with the pain in my legs. I have diabetic neuropathy that I suffer from. Now, this has transformed a lot of things for me. But what I will tell you is that I hate Jack Daniel's bourbon. I have never been a fan. I don't like the flavor of it. I have a lot of bad memories with that Jack Daniel's was involved in. So I am not really looking forward to this pour. I haven't smelled it. I haven't looked up any tasting notes on it. I wanted to give it a fair shake. And so I'm going into this completely blind. This is my first pour of the night. I want to see how this tastes and how it compares to those memories that I've had, especially now that I'm getting into higher proofed bourbons. Now, Jack Daniel's 10-year batch 3 comes in at 97 proof, so it's not as much as the Weller 107 that we did yesterday. It's also not as much as my favorite 2 pours that I own, which is a Samuel Maverick Rodeo Edition. That's a San Antonio local distillery. I have that for 2024. It is 115 proof. And then my absolute favorite pour right now is also a local San Antonio bourbon. It is Rebecca Creek Double Spanish Oak. That is a dessert pour. I will do an entire video on that if I can. I plan on visiting the distillery as well, and I'm going to do a video there because it's 8 minutes up the road from me. But Jack Daniel's 10-year batch 3. This is what we're talking about tonight. I am not looking forward to this pour, so I hope that it surprises me. But here we go. And like Drizzo said yesterday, do the entire thing like a boss. I only do 2 ounces a night. That's a good 2-ounce pour. I will say, I haven't even really put my nose to it yet, and yet I can smell the traditional Jack Daniel's smell already. It's not as off-putting, I will say that. It seems to be a little more deep, and that's just from a distance. And keep in mind, I am a bourbon noob. I've only been doing this since January of 2024, which was when my doctor recommended that I start these. I have seen a drastic improvement in my sleep and everything from it, and so I've just been exploring flavors as a foodie, and I think sharing my opinions on these will help other people who are also just now getting into bourbon, because I'm going through all of the stages that they're going through. I'm not getting professional tasting notes. There's no way that I could be on par with Bourbon Hall and all the other guys that are doing amazing videos, talking about deep flavors and things like that. What I can do, however, is use the little bit of knowledge that I have gained and try and tell you what you should expect as somebody who's not used to bourbon, just like myself. So, here we go. Okay, that's interesting. I wasn't expecting that. I get a lot of banana. You can tell it's higher proof than regular Jack Daniel's, but it smells like banana, vanilla, and caramel. And of course the alcohol, it's almost like a banana's Foster or like a banana flambe, where they pour alcohol onto the banana, they caramelize it, and that caramelized smell from the burnt alcohol. I also get a lot of oak, which I'm finding I kind of enjoy. That Antique Weller 107 yesterday, that was very good, and I got a lot of oak on that one. Okay. I'm glad I'm trying it. I will say that the smell has changed my mind. At least I'm not dreading taking this first taste, but it's got a good pull on it. And a lot of you who are thinking, well, why hasn't he taken a drink yet? Well, I'm trying to let it open up because I did just pour the sample bottle. So you'll see a lot of the guys, when they're doing these tastings, they spin it in the glass like this, and they're watching the oil as it comes down the side. You can see it starts to drip back down pretty quickly. I don't know if I can get the contrast in there enough for you all to see it on camera, but it's pretty oily for 97 proof. Oil matters in a bourbon simply because it's how it's going to feel inside the mouth. You don't want, or at least I don't. I have found I do not like dry mouthfeel bourbons. I tried Angel's Envy. I was not a fan. It's finished in port casks. I don't like port wine to begin with because it's a dry mouthfeel. And for me, if I'm drinking something, it's a drink. My mouth should feel wet. And then when it comes to bourbon, at first I was afraid of the oily ones because it lets that flavor and that burn kind of linger. What I learned though, after the first sip, where you get the burn and all the full flavor, you kind of let it sit for a minute and then you take a second sip, it's numbed your tongue a little bit and the flavors open up even more. You get a lot better tasting notes on the second and third taste versus just your first sip of any given bourbon. And that's one thing I love about this also. There's some of my pours, I have Old Forester 1920 for instance. I love that over ice. To me, that's a cherry lifesaver. That's exactly what it tastes like over ice. Drinking it neat, I get a lot of plum. It's more dark flavors. There's a lot more oil, simply because it's not as watered down when you don't put it over ice. And that one is 115 proof. So it's a big difference for me. I like that over ice. I like it neat. Depending on the night, I may try it one way or the other. With this one, since this is my only sample, I won't get to try that, but you should always try it over ice. You should try it just chilled. You should try the same pour neat, and you should try it with a splash of water. These are tips that I got from quite a few different channels. Major Zero has talked about that. Dr. Vader has talked about that, and he does a lot of cocktails. If you haven't seen Dr. Vader's channel, you should. That chocolate... I don't even know what to call it. That chocolate whiskey he made in the video he released today, you need to go watch that. It made me really want some Lindor chocolate. That was amazing. But a lot of these guys, RJ the Fed, they all talk about the best way to enjoy whiskey is however you enjoy it. Well, how are you going to know if you enjoy it any given way unless you try it all of those different ways? So I think I have spun this glass enough. I think I've put enough filler into the video for me to try this now. Again, I'm not a fan of Jack Daniels, so I'm hoping this surprises me, but I'm not expecting a miracle. So after spinning it for a little while, I still get that banana, but it's become more faint. I get a lot more caramel and a heavier vanilla right now than what I initially got. So let's see if the palate matches the nose. Cheers. I am not enjoying that. Wow. I'm going to let that sit for a minute before I take another sip, because the initial flavor profile I'm getting is kind of like licking a wallet. It's leather. It kind of reminds me of tobacco, which I don't get that on the nose, but I did smoke for quite some time. I smoked cigarettes for a very long time, and this is almost like when I was smoking Marlboro Reds. Now, the longer that I let it sit, so this is where the oil becomes important, that banana is coming through on the finish. I will say that. That's its saving grace right now. But forward, I get a lot of leather. I get a lot of tobacco, and I think it's the oak that's more mid palate. So the front of the tongue, it's like licking a wallet. It's leather. I get some of that tobacco in the mid. The finish, I get the oak for sure, which I like the sweet oak flavor. That's not an issue there. But as it sits, that lingering flavor that stays in the mouth is more of that banana. And you start to really get the sugar. The burn, I will say, it's surprising for a 97 proof. That was a decent, what do they call it, a Kentucky hug, where it just kind of burns as it goes down. That was surprising, but again, always try it twice. You never know how it's going to open up once you have numbed your tongue, and that definitely numbed my tongue. So again, cheers. Okay. Second taste is better. Still a lot of leather and tobacco on the front. The finish is still that sweet oak, but that deep fried banana, that alcohol coated and then set on fire banana becomes a lot more prominent. I'm starting to get a little more of the vanilla coming through, but you have to focus on it, which is kind of strange for me. I'm used to, like I say, the Rebecca Creek, for instance, that double Spanish oak it's coffee forward, it's pecan mid, and then it's dark chocolate finish, which are all three things that I absolutely love. You do get some of the oak. It's a little spicy on the finish from the Spanish oak, but it's delicious. This, oof. I don't think I would buy a bottle of this, if I'm being entirely honest. I do enjoy that banana flavor. I love banana flavored things. Banana Laffy Taffy, I mean, you name it. We even do occasionally frozen bananas, and we eat those because it's just like a popsicle. They get super sweet when you freeze a banana. I like banana flavor. I like the banana flavor that's in this. It's just you got to fight through licking a wallet and smoking a cigarette in order to get to the banana flavor, which to me, I'm not into that. You may be. That's for you guys who are veterans. If that's what you enjoy, then that's what you enjoy. This is not something that I could see enjoying as a daily pour. Don't get me wrong. It's good. It's just not a new favorite. It's not something I would want to have on my counter. I will give it this. It's not a dry finish on the mouth. The oiliness is good. The flavor is not as spicy. The burn on that second drink, for instance, was not nearly as potent as it was on the first drink. Something to do with the numbing effects, I'm sure. It's a lot better to me than Wild Turkey 101 was. Wild Turkey 101 was like drinking jalapeno juice for me, like pickled jalapeno juice. It was very spicy, just that off Wild Turkey flavor I did not enjoy. I'm okay with the leather. I'm okay with the tobacco. I know there are better flavors out there, so this isn't something that I would be pursuing as a flavor profile. For its uniqueness, I can give it some good marks, though, because I don't think I've found banana flavors in anything that I've tried to date, so that's something I've enjoyed experiencing here. I've never had the tobacco and leather come through. That's It's unique, but it's not something, again, that I would really want to drink on a regular basis. I'm going to try it a third time and see if this changes anything. Nope. That's not changing anything. Nope. That's licking a wallet and smoking a cigarette. That's what that's tasting like. The banana finishes it, but wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am not a fan of Jack Daniels. I'm not a fan of Jack Daniels 10-year. I gave it a fair shake, but this is not a bottle I will be pursuing anytime soon. If you enjoy the flavors I have described, absolutely go for it. The banana finish is unique. It's something you should definitely try if you can get a pour of it at a bar before you buy a bottle. I would recommend that to make sure you like it. But yeah, Jack Daniels 10-year, batch 3, not for Loktar. Y'all have a good one.